Time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Butterfly Palace. Have the best day ever at the Butterfly Palace. The Springfield Greene County Park Board reminding you to go play, and Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, welcome to Tuesday. Monday is over, so that's nice. And here we are on Tuesday, starting with some news.
All right. A man pleaded guilty to setting a fire at a popular tourist attraction in Branson. The 44-year-old admitted to using gasoline and a lighter to set a fire at the Track Family Fun Park and Ferris Wheel in Branson. He told police that he did that to cover up his theft of electronics from the business. Today is Election Day across the Ozarks, albeit a very small one. Many counties don't have anything on the ballot, including Greene and Christian counties, but some people do. Bolivar, Marshfield, Marionville, and a few others have some issues on it. For those of you in those areas, you can go vote today from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m.
All right. Forsyth woman changed her not guilty plea to guilty to stealing utility deposits from the city of Forsyth. The state auditor performed an audit in Forsyth in 2021 and discovered missing money over a more than 6-month period in 2019. That theft added up to about $2,000. The city of Forsyth was also given a poor rating by the auditor and is now implementing some changes to try to improve that score. Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malik is refusing to turn over information about a state-sponsored education savings plan to an investment company he accuses of having questionable ties to China, as well as an anti-Israel bias. Malik expressed his concerns about Morningstar, that's the company, in a letter to the company, refusing its request for information about Most 529. That's a Missouri-sponsored savings plan. Morningstar has since downgraded Missouri's savings plan from silver to bronze. And a lawsuit started in Missouri is headed to the U.S. Supreme Court. The suit from the Missouri, Louisiana, as well as 5 individuals claims the federal government coerced social media platforms to remove posts the government considered to be misinformation. Lower courts have ruled with the states and against the feds, saying the government blatantly ignored the First Amendment's right to free speech. The courts also said the feds almost exclusively targeted conservative speech in calling for websites to remove posts. That issue may be headed to the U.S. Supreme Court.
All right. Missouri has settled a lawsuit against a tax preparation company accused of sharing the financial data of Missourians. The Iowa-based company called Tax Act is one of 3 companies that the state of Missouri sued. It'll pay nearly $200,000 as part of the settlement. It will also agree not to share, or to not share, I should say, any consumer tax information without first getting the consent of the taxpayer. Mercy Hospital in Springfield received an A grade when it comes to safety in a new grade list from the nonprofit Leapfrog. Cox Branson earned a B, as did Citizens Memorial Hospital in Bolivar. They got a B. Cox South in Springfield got a C, as did Mercy Hospital in Lebanon. Leapfrog comes up with its grades by looking at 28 different categories, including infections and preventable errors.
This was cool. Maybe you saw this yesterday. Garth Brooks spent the day in Springfield, at least part of the day. He showed up at Bass Pro Shops yesterday morning to promote his new boxed CD set, which is being sold exclusively at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's across the country. He also took to Facebook Live with Johnny Morris at Bass Pro to talk about the new box set and his relationship with Bass Pro. The set includes Garth's newest album on CD, and Johnny Morris during that live, it was a recorded, but they played it live last night at 6. He said they're trying to raise $10 million for conservation. So all the proceeds from Garth's album, I don't know how much goes to him, but Johnny Morris's part of that goes to conservation. So they're hoping to raise $10 million at least. And Garth said, I think we'll at least do that. So we'll see.
Wow.
Cool. It was neat.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I like that. It seems crazy that in a day Like
Well,
all
not
these
in a
people
day.
rush out
No.
to Bass Pro. Well, I mean,
They're
but
not gonna
not
raise
in
that in a
long.
day.
Not
but
in long.
It started yesterday. And in fact, Garth said that they were planning a Black Friday thing, and Johnny, typical Johnny fashion, said, "Well, when does it arrive at the warehouse?" And Garth said, "I don't know, in the next couple of weeks." And Johnny said, "Well, the day it does, we're going to go live." So he flew Garth in, and they did the thing, and now it's for sale 2 weeks ahead of Black Friday.
Well, I just want to take this moment to point out that Garth and I graduated from the same college. So
that's really something.
It is something. It is something. Who graduated from the college you graduated from?
Lots of people. I don't need to name names.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you know what? You couldn't just call any of them by their first name.
Let me ask you this. Who at Garth Brooks' concert had the idea for you to be noticed by Garth Brooks?
You guys, let me tell you. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast, and most of you are, you're just going to have some like theater of the mind with me, because if you're watching, I can show you what happened. So at the Garth Brooks concert down in Ridgedale, there was like a space in the crowd between me and the people in front of me. For whatever reason, Ethan and I had like 10 yards all the way around us, even though there were so many people there.
We were toward the front, and I demanded 10 yards around us. Go ahead.
No, he didn't. Please don't believe him. Listen, some people don't get your humor, and they think that you're like...
I don't care. Move on.
Yes, you do. Stop. Okay, so there were 10 feet like all the way around us for whatever reason. Anyway, so he kind of had like this direct line of sight because we were close to the front. And I had on a green dress. I wish I would have worn an orange dress, because that's our color, orange for OSU, but it was green nonetheless. And I just kept going like this. You can't see me if you're listening.
Who told you to do that?
Ethan told me to do this. Ethan's a genius. He wants me to say it out loud. Ethan's a genius. Say it with me. Ready? 1, 2. Ethan's a genius.
Ethan's a genius. That is correct. But here's the deal. I was so certain that it was going to work that I was behind you recording, so I could see him and you, knowing that he's going to react to you doing this, right?
Right.
And he did.
Right. So again, Ethan's a genius. So anyway, I start giving him the firing pistols. Now, most of you are not watching this on Facebook, but if you're watching this on Facebook, this is what it looks like. These are firing pistols.
You make a gun with your fingers.
You make a gun with your finger. You point it up in the air. So I was like staring at Garth Brooks like this, going like this the whole time, like with my firing pistols. And he literally stops what he's doing. He looks directly at me. He points at me and goes like this, and then points at me again, and then goes like this again. And I'm like, yes! And it was very exhilarating. Ain't going down till the sun comes up. I know every single Garth Brooks song. I mean, come on. We were like alma mater friends. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the end of my story. It was a really good story though, wasn't it? Yeah, who else can say that about Garth Brooks? Didn't think so.
Great story. And I have the video. You should post it on Facebook so people can see it again.
Text it to me so I can
celebrate my great idea. Table Rock Lake Marina now has a new owner out of Atlanta. It's actually two companies. They went together to buy Kings River Marina in Shell Knob. They're planning a lot of improvements there, including a new restaurant, which will be cool, new boat lifts, more boat and watercraft rentals, as well as a new wet dock there at Kings River Marina.
Very cool. All right. A dog from Fort Leonard Wood just won the 13th annual American Human Hero Dog Award. Impressive. His name's Maverick, 150-pound dog. That's more than me. Oh, man. A European Blue Great Dane won the top award in the therapy dog category for his work with kids as part of the USO Canine program. Maverick, as his name again, will be honored at the award show in Palm Beach on November 10th. And you can watch that award show on A&E on November 26th. So it doesn't air till the 26th, but the award show is coming up in a few days. So that's cool.
That'd be neat to watch. We're going to move on to the last page, Sarah, and I'll do the top story. You do the second one there. Veterans Homecoming Week is now underway in Branson, which is it's always a big week. There are events all week long, every day, to honor our veterans. It goes through Sunday. Of course, Saturday coming up is Veterans Day. Branson every year rolls out the red carpet for our national heroes. and plans this week-long activity, events to draw them to town and to celebrate them. Veterans Homecoming Week has been going on in Branson now for 27 strong years, and it continues. I love it.
It is awesome. Yes. All right. Also, all this week in Greene County, it is Operation Greenlight. The county will light up government buildings in Greene to honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans as well. Businesses and individuals in Greene County are urged to join in by changing an outside bulb to green in their honor. And then you can share your pictures on social media using the hashtag Operation Greenlight from now through Sunday to celebrate and honor veterans.
I think that's awesome. I think that's super cool.
Good idea.
Yeah. Anytime we can honor our veterans, and I think we should.
I do. If I ever see anyone in a hat, like in their military, like it says, veteran on their hat, whatever war they fought in, and then veteran, or if I see people in uniform, I always go out of my way and say, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And sometimes they really appreciate it and shake my hand and say hello. And other times they're like, this strange woman is talking to me. And
what do you want, lady? I had a friend who just went with his father to Washington, D.C. as part of the honor flight.
Yes.
His father was in the Vietnam War. So he got to spend the day with him. And I've been on that honor flight before working for KY3. I got to go do a story on that. It really is an incredible trip. When I was doing it, it was World War II veterans. Unfortunately, there aren't too many of those left these days. So most of them are not able to go on a trip or who have already been on a trip. So now they've moved on to Korean War and Vietnam War veterans. But it's an incredible day. It's one day in and out. You get up early in the morning, you fly to Branson. Every veteran has a caregiver that kind of is with them, assigned to them all day long to help them around. Whether they're in a wheelchair or just walking around, just guiding and supporting, and they see all the memorials that are in their honor around Washington, D.C. They have lunch together. They get to read letters that school kids wrote them, thanking them for their service. It's an amazing experience. It's a long day. It'll take a lot of strength out of the guys and gals who go, but it's certainly worth it. Which is man, it's just a great way to, and whoever's idea that was to come up with that and start it years ago.
Yeah.
Genius idea.
Genius. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Well, thanks guys for joining us, and we hope you have a great Tuesday.
We do indeed. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday. See ya.
See you then.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Tuesday. It is November 7th, and we are once again talking about nice warm temperatures here in the Ozarks. Starting off this morning in the mid-50s for some of you, maybe long sleeve jacket weather. For others that are just fine by the afternoons, well, you may be able to skip the jacket altogether today. I once again have a high temperature that's going to climb to about 78 degrees today. It will be warm in the Ozarks on this Tuesday, and we are going to stay rain-free once again. I have some cloud cover in the forecast, and a south breeze is in the forecast today as well. But overall, we're talking really nice weather conditions in the Ozarks and this warming trend that is going to be pretty persistent through the middle of the week. In fact, we could be approaching record highs in some areas, especially by tomorrow. I have 80s in the forecast on Wednesday, which sounds kind of crazy. I'll bring you back to just 1 week ago when we were talking about record low temperatures. Yeah, 7 days later, we are now talking record highs in the Ozarks, and numbers will make it to the 80s tomorrow. We'll approach 80 in a few places today, but in Springfield, I think we're at about 78 degrees for that afternoon high temperature. A cold front will then come, take all those nice warm temperatures away. That happens on Wednesday night into early Thursday. That's the next best opportunity for a little bit of a shower chance in the Ozarks. Not looking like a washout. At this point, just showers are what's expected. No thunder, no lightning associated with this, and not even a whole lot of moisture. I think we will get a little shower activity. Best chance for that, though, looks to be south of I-44 as we move into the early hours on Thursday. But the bigger story out of that cold front for midweek is that it's going to take these nice warm 80-degree temperatures and knock them down into the 50s for highs by the time we get to Thursday and Friday. So quite a temperature change coming our way. If you love the warm weather, though, it's not necessarily all gone. I was just looking at some of the extended outlooks from the Climate Prediction Center, and it's looking like that second week of November also has chances to be above normal for this part of the country. In fact, a 75% chance or probability that we see temperatures above normal for this time of the year. So it looks like we're going to at least hold on to the mild weather through the second week of November, despite this one little cool down that I have in the forecast coming our way for the second half of the work week. I have temperatures today at 78 in Springfield, partly cloudy skies, and then the winds really pick up tomorrow ahead of that next cold front. Those winds, though, will be warm during the daylight hours, and with at least a partly cloudy sky tomorrow, I think it boosts our temperatures into the low 80s, going 80 for the high temperature in Springfield. Others may make it closer to 82 on Wednesday. That cold front comes through late in the day. We do have about a 50% chance for some showers. As I said, I think it's the southern Ozarks that have the best chance for some rain early in the morning on Thursday. And then it will be turning much cooler. We are talking about temperatures only topping out in the 50s Thursday, Friday, and then we're close to 60 again by Saturday. But low temperatures are going to get cold again. In fact, we could be back close to the freezing point again Friday night into early Saturday morning. Around the country making headlines, you may have seen this. A few folks in Missouri and even the Ozarks have reported that they saw the northern lights this week, Sunday night into early Monday morning. A really active space weather pattern happening with a storm. And it has allowed the northern lights, or the aurora borealis, to be spotted way further south than it typically is. The northern states can often see them in the cooler months. But we had some photos from Warrensburg and also even from Springfield of just a hint of some green and some pink in the sky. That was late Sunday night into early Monday. Unfortunately, the chances of one of those geomagnetic storms happening later this week are not looking too likely. But if you saw it, send us a picture if you happen to get one. It would take a low exposure camera definitely to capture that. But if you have one, I would love to see it. You can email me. That's abby@aroundtheozarks.com. Other news across the country is that record heat is taking place not just for us here in the Ozarks. I told you we'd be close to some record highs today and tomorrow, but it's the east and the southeast that maybe 10 to 15 degrees above records. I mean, smashing some of those record high temperatures. That's what's happening for the first week of November for the southeast. And then we're once again talking about critical fire weather conditions for Hawaii, of course, with Maui making the headlines this year already. We want to mitigate all risk for that. So they are on high alert in Hawaii with some critical fire weather conditions taking place out there with high winds and dry grounds, making for a perfect setup for wildfires. And that's exactly what we do not want to see happen again. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question that I have for you on this Tuesday morning. This is the question that I left you with yesterday. The phrase "through thick and thin" means through good times and bad. But it used to be a longer phrase specific to what type of event? The options that I gave you were A, hunting, B, sailing, C, ice fishing, or D, storm watching. The answer is A, hunting. I might have thrown you as a weather question, but it's a hunting is the answer today. And this dates back all the way to Old England. It dates back to the 1300s. It's believed that it relates to entering a dark forest. In some places, the trees were thick and overgrown, while in other places it was sparse and really easy to navigate. During this time, the majority of England was covered in wooded areas, and it is derived from an old hunting expression, "through thicket and thin wood." Is the original phrase that now we just shorten to "through thick and thin." The thicket is a group of trees or bushes that grow close together, and then those thin areas are the sparse areas with few trees that I was telling you about. The first recorded use of this phrase can be found in Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. So hunting is the answer today. If you answered A, hunting, you are now entered part of a pool to win a $20 gift card to Scooter's Coffee. So congrats if you got that one right. Here's another chance to win. According to NASA, how many people have walked on the moon? Do you think it is A, 8, B, 12, C, 18 people, or D, 24 people? Let me know. You can take your guess. That happens at aroundtheozarks.com. As I mentioned yesterday, if you have Apple or Spotify, please don't forget to review Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. We would love 5 stars. Let's other people know about Wake Up Weather. You can get a quick forecast in the morning as you're heading out the door. If you're driving this morning, listening, it's a pretty nice morning to be waking up in the Ozarks, and it will be a beautiful afternoon. Enjoy the partly sunny skies and high temperatures of 78 degrees. I'll chat with you again early tomorrow morning.